We're out there celebrating how much more based and right-wing the Gen Z men are, but the polling out there of how much more left-wing Gen Z women are. And in Scott Rasmussen's poll that showed 15% of Americans thought America was better off with Charlie Kirk assassinated, and that's about 40 million people. Almost all of that is from Gen Z. And to me, if we don't take advantage of this moment, when you take all this residual angst and inherited angst and anger amongst Gen Z on our side, and you combine it with all the violent level of radicalization of the Gen Z on their side, that's the devil's arithmetic, brother. That math ends up in places like Antietam. We have to take advantage of this moment right now so that we do not sentence our children and grandchildren in that generation to the kinds of stuff that we've seen in history books before. Am I over the top saying that?
No, you're perfectly correct. I heard you on the previous segment, Christ or chaos. One of the things we need to do, and one of the things that Charlie was excellent at, and people aren't giving him the credit for it yet, is bringing things back to Jesus Christ. We cannot be ashamed to talk about Jesus Christ in the political sphere. It's Christ or chaos. What makes America great? What made Europe great? What made Western civilization great? Being Western, being in a geographic location? No. What made Western civilization, we should call it Christian civilization, is that people generation after generation were conforming their lives and their culture and their society to the teachings of the gospel of Jesus Christ. It was creating a society that operated on the Beatitudes and the Sermon on the Mount and the idea that Christ came, he humbled himself, he died on a cross as a sacrifice for mankind. That's what makes civilization. It's not just being conservative. I think the challenge is you're looking at the horrible shooting in Minnesota, the horrible thing with Arena on the train. You're looking at Charlie Kirk just week after week. This is evil. The only solution to evil, if you're a Christian, is Jesus Christ. And I think sometimes we as Christians, especially since the 1950s, we feel that we need to sort of reserve that and we need to hold that back. But the left is bringing out all of their patron saints, Marx, Freud, Shea, everything they got, they throw it at us. And we're afraid to say, well, this is what Jesus taught about marriage. Mm-hmm. That really is the problem. And Charlie Kirk was not afraid to do that. Charlie Kirk spoke openly about his faith and openly on campuses about Jesus Christ. And I love MAGA. I voted for Trump. It's not about being more MAGA. Are we going to still be wearing red hats in 4 years, 8 years, 16 years, 32 years? Ultimately, it's about logos versus chaos. And Christ is the logos. He's the word made flesh. That is the only healing factor that we can appeal to at this moment. We have so much time, I think, before we lose it to that radical Gen Z segment that you were just discussing.